Turning your passion into a business. Here to share the chemistry and endless possibilities of home brewing is Rachel Staats, Senior Marketing Manager for the American Homebrewers Association. Thanks for joining us. I had a friend who he and his buddies, they decided, you know what, we're going to make our own beer. It turned out not to be quite as easy as they thought. Pretty complicated stuff.
Well, it can be as complicated as you want it to be, but getting started is actually very simple.
So tell me how you got started in home brewing.
We're located in Boulder, Colorado. So being here surrounded by lots of excellent craft breweries, it's something my husband and I started as a hobby about 8 years ago because we wanted to try our hand at, some of the flavors we were tasting in a tap room. We wanted to try it at home.
Home brewing. Now, you would think that they've come up with just about every single flavor, but that's not necessarily true. What is the secret behind home brewing and doing it well?
Sure. So you definitely have steps that need to be followed in a particular order. It's a science. So following those steps, it's having a recipe, making sure everything is clean and sanitary. That's how you get from grain to glass and have an excellent tasting glass of beer at the end.
Yeah, so tell us about more of the ingredients that go into just sort of your basic beer, something that a novice would want to start off with.
Sure. So on homebrewersassociation.org, we have what we're calling our Easy Amber Ale with a video that accompanies it that walks you through the whole process. So you can get a homebrew kit from your local homebrew supply shop for about $50 or so. And then that'll include a malt extract. So there are four ingredients in beer. You have malt, water, yeast, and hops. And so those are the ingredients. That's how beer is made. But what the secret is like you were saying, all those flavors. So when you're at home, you can get a little experimental. You can, make a pumpkin ale and you can make it as pumpkin spicy as you want or not. It's just limitless.
I know we've got some people out here who make things using chili peppers and all kinds of really interesting ingredients that do change the flavor of the beer. Sometimes for the better, sometimes not. But the idea is that you're always experimenting. Is this a costly hobby?
No, so many of the equipment pieces you'll have in your home, a kettle, like a big, pot, and then a spoon. And you don't have to get fancy with the fermenter. So it can just be a food safe bucket or your local homebrew supply shop quite often will have everything you need in a kit just ready to go. So that with ingredients is about $100.
Well, this is a good place to take a break because I want to hear a little bit more about how you can turn this into a business. We'll be back after this. Turning beer into a business on this Money Monday. Welcome back. We have been chatting with Senior Marketing Manager Rachel Staats of the American Homebrewers Association, and I want to get into some of the costs behind making your own beer. So when you're talking just a single batch, kind of the common starter kit, how much yield are we talking about here?
Sure. So you can get a homebrew kit for about $100. That would include the ingredients and some of the equipment you may not have in your own kitchen. And that 5 gallon kit will be about 2 cases of beer, so 50 bottles. And that's roughly $2 a bottle. So if you're making it at home, it's a pretty good return on investment.
It certainly is. With 1.1 million homebrewers in the United States, not everybody wants to sell on the market, but some people think, hey, I've got a really good thing going here. I've got an excellent recipe that I believe would turn heads out on the market. So do you think the people that you've spoken with, is it difficult to get into that market? Do you think it's difficult or a challenge to find your place amongst all the other brewers out there?
Yeah, so we're in a great time to be a home brewer, to be a craft beer drinker, to be a craft brewer, because there are so many options. But as a home brewer, if you feel like you've dialed in that recipe and your friends and family love it, local homebrew competitions are a great place to try that recipe out in the real world. You'll get feedback from certified judges who know what they're drinking and they can give you feedback. And that's where you can turn that into Do you need to fine tune the recipe? Should you go for it and open a brewery? It's a good place to start.
Are there any particular or particulars that these judges look for? I mean, whether it's the suds, the flavor, the color, is it kind of like wine?
Yeah, so it's all of those things that you mentioned. So they'll look at the color. Does it fit within the range for that beer style? What is the bitterness of the beer? Is it again in range for the style? What is the ABV? Is it really boozy or is it, really low for where it should be? So there are a lot of parameters for beer styles. And we have those on our website for, every beer style you can think of.
Perfect. Now, there are a couple of clubs here in the Low Country for anybody who's interested in making some friends. Which clubs are these and where can people find them?
Sure. So our website, homebrewersassociation.org/clubs, is where you can find some in your area. There are lots scattered throughout your state, but specifically Low Country Libations and Charleston Brewing Collective are active homebrew clubs. They might be having virtual meetups or how-tos. Same with your local homebrew supply shop, beer engineering supply. They'll have homebrew kits that can get you started and offer, some advice if you're a beginner.
Terrific. They're in North Charleston on East Montague Avenue. That's Beer Engineer Supply. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing with us, Rachel. Brewing, beer is a big thing down here. So I think a lot of people their ears are perking up. They're maybe going to start their hand at this.
Excellent. Well, thanks for having me. Cheers.
Cheers to you. Thank you. We're back after this.